welcome back to the show. I'm Joey Troxel.
I'm Debbie Chu.
So, Deb, it's now summer, right? I know because I don't have to go to work, so it's kind of perfect.
Yeah.
You're
Right,
traveling.
Yes,
Yep.
I'm traveling.
And I will be traveling a lot. So it's kind of the time of year where we get invited to things. There's barbecues. What do you bring? So I think we want to cover how to get through summer, or how to survive summer as a high protein,
Plant-based.
yeah, as for protein focus. So maybe it's a protein focused summer.
I love it.
All right, so tell me some ideas or some things that have happened to you. What are some things that you've done?
Okay, just on my recent trip, we went to a family member's house for dinner. They texted us ahead of time and said we were going to be having pinwheels, which was some kind of flank steak thing, and a tamale pie, which had eggs in it. They said, oh, nothing vegan though. No problem. I went to Whole Foods, and they had a little bowl with tofu, and it was grilled with veggies and rice, and I just brought that. And then I also brought a dessert, a vegan dessert. So I always come with something that I can eat, and including a dessert, because I have a sweet tooth. So.
Yes.
What about you?
So I've talked about this experience before, but my best friend Greg, right? He lived down the road a little bit.
I was your best friend.
You're my BFF. Yes. I haven't spoken to him in years, just so you know. All right. Sorry, Greg. So one of the things he did was he has a 4th of July party every year, and the first year we were working out together, and he called me up and he was like, look, I want to invite you to my 4th of July party, but you're a vegan. I don't even know where to begin. I'm not going to bother with it. I assume that you have food to bring and you know what to do in this situation. And I was like, yes, thank you for inviting me. I mean, rather than not invite me because he didn't know what to do, he was like, he must know. Like, he must have something to bring. And I was like, yes, thank you very much. I'm going to bring my own food. I appreciate you inviting me, right?
Perfect.
So I felt like that was great. And like you, I just, got something. Well, I think I actually bought Impossible Burgers at the time. But I brought something with me and it was fine. And he actually had lettuce and salad there and all that. I mean, everyone's got a salad, right?
Yeah.
So, and I did bring my own dressing. So I think planning to bring your own food and working out with the person, I think sometimes it's a lot of pressure on the host to be like, oh man, what do I do for this one character, right? Like, what do I do? Don't you think?
Yeah, and don't assume they're going to have something for you. Because even if they try, they'll be like, oh, there's egg in it. And you're like, ugh, that's not what I do.
Right.
But that reminded me, we have a 4th of July party every year as well. And my husband, he's a meat eater still. So he will barbecue, but I make all the sides and they're all vegan. So, and everybody loves it.
So really, it's just about planning. Now, I like your idea, just stop and get something, right? But I definitely don't want to put pressure on someone to go out of their way to include me. So the way Greg handled that was just perfect. And I feel like if you're listening and, you're a meat eater and you have vegan friends, right? Like I'm in vegan groups where people aren't vegan, but they're like, hey, I joined this group because my sister's coming for the summer or in the summer and I want to know I don't even know that. First of all, that's great, right? Especially if they're going to be staying for a while. But, if it's a one-time thing and you're watching this to get ideas, just let the person know, hey, I'd like to invite you. I'd like to include you. Can you just bring what you need?
Yeah, just communicate with them. And then as the guest, you can communicate with them. Just like, hey, I'm a vegan. Don't worry about it. I will bring my own thing. Yeah. And, good to go.
I think so. And even if they don't know that about you and you get invited, you can bring something and just be like, hey, by the way, like you just said, I brought my own food. So
don't feel bad or feel weird about it.
No.
I think it's best just to be honest. And I think they will appreciate that.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't walk in with a meat is murder t-shirt or something, right?
Right.
But you might want to break it slowly. And then this is the opportunity for people to come up and go, oh, what are you eating? And you explain, oh, it's, a chickpea salad sandwich. Really? Right? Oh, yeah. I'm a vegan and I make all my own food. Like, oh, well, tell me about this. Or most of the time people be like, oh, you're a vegan, blah, 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 right? In situations like this. And then a year later, you see them and they're like, oh, by the way, I could use some help. My doctor just told me I need to start eating more vegetables, right? Exactly. So you never know the impact that you're going to have like later on.
Yeah, and you just make it like it's no big deal.
Yeah,
this is just what I'm doing. And usually they're like, oh, that looks really good, and they usually want your food.
I think that, yes, in today's society, we're definitely more plant focused. Even the people who are omnivores or carnivores, they still eat vegetables probably more than they did before, right? Maybe there's more of a awareness on fiber and all that stuff, right?
Right.
And cholesterol. So there is a lot of consumption of more vegetable meals. So I feel like just suggesting, hey, just answering questions about what you're eating is a really good seed to plant.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
I think it works out really well. All right. So we definitely talked about, bringing your own food, barbecues. I feel like sometimes there's the pressure to, even if there's plenty of options to eat that are not, that are plant-based, there's the pressure to eat more than you need to, right? You think at times in the summer we overeat and then we're just like, oh man, like I'm going to start, almost like the summer is like, time to bulk up, which is really silly because it's like the cutting phase of your life, right? Yeah. But I do that. Like I would normally, okay, so I don't eat potato chips, right? Like I just don't. Like it's not a trigger food. It's chocolate for me, right? But if I'm at a barbecue, there's potato chips. Now I'm eating potato chips and I've eaten, and I'm like, why am I eating this? I don't even eat potato chips. What is it about like in the sun and you're just like, I'll just take anything, right?
Yes. Yes. Well, there's just all the stuff, in front of you, but chips are a trigger for me. So I'd be in trouble.
They don't do anything for me.
And chocolate as well.
Yeah, so. Chocolate for sure. Like if there's brownies or something, I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna eat this. But as soon as I get home, like I'm making a big old tray of brownies, I'm gonna eat them, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm always like, so how did you make the brownies? They say egg. I'm like, okay. Good.
Yeah.
I don't ever stray from that.
I don't either, but you know what's worse? If people are like, hey, look, I know you're coming over. This is why you don't want them to make anything for you. I'm going to make something for you. And they made a tray of vegan brownies, right? And then the regular brownies. And no one's eating, of course, the vegan brownie because it says vegan. And for some reason, they're all freaked out by it. So these are regular brownies. And you have one, and now there's this big tray, and you're like, oh my God, like this was made for me. If I don't eat this, like I feel terrible. And this guy went through all this work. So now you're eating a bunch of food and you're just like sweating, right?
Exactly. You're like, please don't help me.
Please. That's why I think it is better to just kind of get across like, hey, I'll be bringing my own food, right? Like,
right. And after a while, people figure it out. Like I've been 14 years, I've been a vegan. So my whole family, my friends, they know. She's going to take care of herself. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. They've had time to get acclimated.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, it was a shock for us. Like, I don't know about you, but when I stopped eating animals overnight, right? So, and no one saw it coming, including me. I know. And I because I read a PETA pamphlet, on the toilet, and then was like, I came out of the bathroom and was like, I told Tim, I'm a vegetarian now. And he was like, you don't even like vegetables. What are you talking about, right? I was like, I don't know, but I'm not eating animals. I never went back. So it was a shock for me and my family. I can only imagine, like, it just takes some, like, acclimation for everyone else.
Right, because you're changing the rules.
Yeah.
It's just like, I was a meat eater when I got married, and then it was my decision to stop eating meat. That doesn't mean he has to stop eating meat. Right. So you just have to be on your own journey, but it works out.
Yeah, it does work out. And, there's always something to eat at a barbecue. There's often salads and all that stuff. So, and if not, one thing you can do, which you and I probably do, is eat before you go.
100%.
I always have a full meal before I go to someone's house that's serving food.
Yeah.
This way I'm not hungry going, well, if I peel this off of that, then it's vegan or whatever, right? I'm like, no, I'm not doing that, right?
Yeah. In fact, I'm going to a wedding next weekend, so I will eat before I go, just in case.
So a friend of mine recently got married, and it was very low key, but it was absolutely beautiful. And she did a kind of a Mexican make your own taco bar, and she made sure there was vegetarian beans, right, where they don't make them with water instead of the stock, which are vegan. She made sure there was that. She made sure there was plenty of like fresh pico, like all this stuff.
Yeah.
And she was like, listen, I've just given you things. I'm sure you'll just make your own thing. I'm like, exactly. Yeah. So, and she's gluten free, so there was a lot of like specialty stuff.
Yeah.
Which was really kind of nice. So I thought that was great. All right. So also another thing, Deb, like let's say you go to a barbecue, let's say your best vegan friend throws it, right? And you're like, oh man, like everything's vegan, like I'll take it all, right? And you overeat and you didn't really get any steps and you're laying out in the sun baking. And the next day you're like, oh my gosh, I probably had 3,000 calories. I got no exercise. Like I'm going to like fast for 2 weeks and not eat, right? Or you ever think about that? I'm like, I'm not eating this weekend, right? Which is impossible. That's just silly, right? So do you really need to go to an extreme now? Like maybe be like, oh, screw it, I've messed up. Like what do you do after you've had one bad day?
Get right back on track, because you're not going to gain any weight for one day. What you don't want to do is, if you do go off track, you're not going to go crazy and just start eating everything in sight. Just next day, next meal, just get right back on it.
You know, it's interesting. I think the scale does this to us. We look at our weight today and then tomorrow and think we're a success or we're a failure.
Right.
And it really has nothing to do with one day, right?
And that's probably just water, inflammation.
Yeah.
You know, just start in with your, regular routine the next day. You'll be fine.
When I went to the trainer last year and had started losing weight, he said, here's what you're going to be at every day, 1,400 calories, and here's your weekly calories. And I was like, weekly calories? He's like, yeah, we're looking at a week. You can make these weekly calories work out any way you want, but at the end of the week, you want to be here. So if you had a really bad day and you ate too much, start eating a little bit less for the next 3 days, and by the end of the week, you're right back on track.
Right.
And I was like, wow, I've never thought of that before,
Yeah.
right? So it's not like a failure. I'm like, okay, well, now I just got to adjust the next few days.
Exactly.
So, if you have a bad day or a bad meal or whatever, there's no reason to be like, it's over. It's progress over perfection, and no one's perfect, right?
Right. Yeah. Don't beat yourself up about it.
If you watch bodybuilders and all that, they'll tell you, they're not perfect. Right?
Because there's no such thing as perfect.
No. So you kind of just have to do sometimes just to make the best decision in the situation you're in, right?
Right.
So if you wind up eating too much at a barbecue or eating things you shouldn't have or whatever, just get up the next day if it's already a whole day and start back on track. Start counting your macros for that day. Get back onto your plan. Don't do anything extreme like I'm only going to eat half my calories a day.
Right.
But start realizing that by the end of the week I probably need to be down a few calories here and there. Right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Same thing with fitness, I think. There are times when I'm going to the gym 4 days this week and it works out great for 3 or 4 weeks. And then a week will come and the graduation week with the students graduating and there's all these meetings and I worked out twice and it just didn't happen. Right? So, is it over? No, I'm just going to go back to the gym on Monday and pick it up where I left off.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, same with me.
Yep.
We know on my vacation, I only worked out really just hiking. Didn't do really any weights, but that's okay. When I get home, I'm going to be right back on it.
All right, so summer can be a time for, meeting up with people you haven't seen in a while. It could be a time for family, a time for traveling, but it doesn't have to be a time, as we talked about today, for guilt because you messed something up or a time where you can't stick to some resemblance of your normal life. I am big on routines. Without a routine, it's over for me.
Ballpark.
Yeah, and I like the school year better than the summer off because every day I do the same thing.
Yeah.
With the summer off, it's a free-for-all, right? I don't know what's happened. And that's why I stay in the house and I try not to leave because once I leave this house, right, Lex will be like, what's up at Taco Bell? The beans are vegan. I'm like, yeah, but that little tortilla is 200 calories, right?
Right.
So I feel like this is my safe place, but summer's not a reason to make yourself feel bad. There's plenty of options for making sure that you stay on track. And that you're prepared and invited to parties.
Right, because life's too short to be stressing out about all this stuff. Most of us, we know what to do, and then you just start the next day back on your routine.
Yep, a routine is very good, right? That really keeps me focused.
Same.
All right, so that's another summer podcast for us. Summer's here and it's underway, and I'm just going to try and stick to the routine the best I can, and when I can't, I'm just going to make good choices.
Yeah, exactly. So I hope we gave you some good ideas to help you through the summer. So if you've made it this far in the video, please comment below with summer, and that way we know you made it to the end with us, and we really appreciate your support.
And we love the idea of you spending the summer with us.
Oh yes,
all right.
We're so fun.
We are.
We are.
All right. Well, don't forget to like and subscribe, and subscribe to the podcast if you're on your podcast content provider or YouTube, and help us out. We would love the support. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, join us next time. Although next time we won't be in the same room.
No, we'll be states apart, but
that's okay.
It'll be just like we're here together. All right, we'll see you next time.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.